afternoon and welcome to the first episode of the Ballarat Fitness Women in Business podcast. Now, this podcast is proudly supported by the Women's Leaders in Fitness Business and, of course, the Gym Owners Fitness Business podcast. Now, today I'm super excited to be interviewing an amazing woman in my own community here in Ballarat. Now, everybody welcome Tracy Hargraves to the podcast. Good afternoon, Tracy.
Hi, Mel. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
You're absolutely welcome. Now, for everyone, just before I tell you a little bit about Tracy, Tracy and I connected through probably one of the industry's absolute worst moments, and that was COVID-19. So a few of the club owners in Ballarat came together as a little network, and we sort of kept each other accountable, but at the same time, we were helping each other out, as I said, through one of the toughest periods ever that our industry has seen. So who is Tracy Hargraves? Well, she is the CEO of Absolute Yoga and Pilates. Through COVID, Tracy has successfully flipped her business online, but not just in one category, but in two. And so today we're going to be talking about her success and how I visualize in the next couple of years, I see Tracy becoming a global distributor of her new product and seeing her turn this product into $1 million business for her. And I'm sure she loves me saying that.
It'd be lovely.
It will be. So, Trace, let's go right back to the very beginning. Absolute Yoga and Pilates. That's where you started and built your business up. So just tell our audience a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Mel. So I started the studio, probably 14 and a half years ago now. So I'd been living away from Ballarat for many years before that, but I returned when I was 30 and I was very heavily into yoga. I had done my yoga teacher training on the way back from London. Like I stopped in Bali for a month and did my first certification there and hadn't really planned on doing too much with it. But when I got back to Ballarat and there was I couldn't find yoga apart from one class here or there. There was no sort of dedicated yoga only space. So I just decided to give it a go. I did the NICE program, which is like a government run short course, which helps you get your business idea off the ground. So that was really helpful in the early days. And yeah, I rented a space and just started putting on yoga classes all over the place. It was slow in the beginning, so I was working as well as a teacher, doing like casual relief teaching mostly. So I'd kind of work, I might do a 6 a.m. class and then go to school all day and then come back and do 2 evening classes and weekends. So it was just me in the beginning. I don't think I put on another teacher until I got pregnant with my son. And then I brought someone else on, and then it just sort of grew from there. The first studio that I had was a beautiful little space. It was above the Plaster Fun House. It was perfect for what I needed. But then unfortunately, when I had my second child, she was 3 months old and I was on maternity leave and the building underneath us caught fire. And so there went the whole building basically. So we had to move. And that was when we changed the name to Absolute Yoga and Pilates, and we decided to add Pilates into the mix as well. We moved around for a couple of months into 3 or 4 different temporary spaces, and people just came with us, and that was great until we found our forever home, which we're in now. And yeah, we really did that studio out with the very best of equipment, as in we've got hot yoga, so we've got really kind of fancy heaters and flooring, and now we do bar as well. We did take over the building next door to us there, and that was probably a year and a half before COVID hit. So unfortunately we lost that space, or we decided to say goodbye to that space in COVID because our lease was nearly up on that one, and it was kind of like no one was allowed to come in at all. So we were sort of paying all the outgoings for 2 spaces with no one being able to come in, so that we just kind of scaled down again, and now it's a pretty happy balance, really, just the one space and trying to recover from COVID and doing other things on the side as well.
So Tracy, tell me, through COVID most of us had to flip to online. Now, I know that you flipped to an online business as well to serve your community. Are you still running that online business, or did you sort of cease once you were able to reopen?
We kept it going for a fair while. I mean, Mel, you'd be the same. I think in Ballarat, we opened and closed about 7 times.
Yep.
Melbourne was 5 times because they had, they never had the little lockdowns that we had toward the end. So we did keep it because it was so unpredictable as to whether people, we were all kind of holding our chairs going, are we going to be locked down again in a week? So it just made sense to have. So when we were in full lockdown, we had just virtual classes. So we were live streaming. When people would come back, we'd just have the laptop set up in the corner and we'd have live people with us and people doing it from home. And so I finally let go of the live streaming, I think, maybe November, December, because I think people were a bit zoomed out and we just weren't getting many people coming to those classes virtually anymore. So yeah, we said goodbye to those just kind of before Christmas, and now we're fully in person. We do also have on-demand classes, so like recorded classes. We've got a membership that people can do if they prefer that, but it's not, there's a slight difference between that and live streaming. But yeah, it's a funny balance as well to try and, because when you're trying to teach people in front of you as well as people at home, it's a bit messy. So I kind of prefer, just the real thing now that we can do it.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, when we closed and we were doing Facebook Live classes, that was okay. But then when we were doing the classes sort of like on Facebook Live and we had people in the group fitness room, how you taught to the camera and how you taught to the live people was slightly different. And I was like you, pretty much once we opened in November, I just pulled the pin on doing both. And like you, we've got a collection of online classes now. People want to do them on demand, they can. Yeah. I don't update my classes as regular as what you do. And I've just chosen to do that because sometimes when you're the only person that's in charge of doing something, you just got to go, nah, I don't want to do it anymore. So it's just a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of extra kind of put on the shoulders of other teachers if you're getting them to do that as well, because they might like to walk around the room or instruct someone who's in front of them and they're not in the view of the camera anymore. And it's just nice for them to be able to focus on, not having to do everything, I think.
So now that, Absolute Yoga and Pilates is up and running and the doors are open, I have to ask you, at what stage of COVID did you decide to start a new business? So for our listeners, Tracy has launched Apple Queen Active, and I love the name of it, and it's been a very successful business as a startup. So tell us, at what stage did you decide to do this, and where are you heading now, and what have people been saying?
Oh, look, I think this had probably been an idea in the back of my head for years, but it wasn't until we were in hard lockdown. We couldn't leave more than 5Ks away from home. My kids were home. The business was just all over the place, that I think my mental health was suffering a bit then, as would have most people's. And I just kind of went, you know what, stuff it. Why not? I want to do this. I'm kind of home and I've got a little bit more time to put towards something different. And because it was just a fresh idea that I was really passionate about, it helped to lift me up as well. So yeah, I think it was probably not 12 months ago, but yeah, whenever the hard lockdown was, I can't even remember now, but yeah, that's when I still started thinking, well, why not just actually make this idea and see if it's got legs. Yeah.
And tell everybody what Active Queen Active is. Apple Queen Active.
Apple Queen Active, or AQ Active, it initially started as wanting to make activewear for women with the apple body shape, which is something that I have, which is more or less your fat goes straight to your tummy. Some people are more of an hourglass, like they might put on weight in their butt and their hips and their boobs. Other people are pears, so they're kind of smaller up top and then bigger thighs and butts as well. So that was the main first thing. I thought I'm going to niche right down to this specific group that I think probably struggle to find clothes that fit. And one of the big issues with that is leggings that roll down or slide down, and crops that are constantly rolling up, and you're constantly adjusting your clothes and you don't feel confident with your tummy out. So women with that apple shape don't even tend to wear crops and leggings without something baggy over the top of it anyway. But as I have launched and started to grow the business, I've found that the two big things that happen across all shapes, which I didn't realize, I thought it was just more of an apple thing, is your pants rolling down or sliding down and your crop riding up. And so I've actually found plenty of other shapes apart from apples really liking the stuff that I'm doing, because it's all about, like, my most popular designs have got clips on either side, so once you clip them together, nothing moves. Your leggings just stay where they're supposed to. Everything's really high-waisted, everything's got beautiful tummy support. So it's kind of evolving into more of a it's taking on a life of its own in a way, but it's all about high waists and being comfortable and not having to adjust and be irritated. It's annoying when your pants are falling down.
Yes.
Do you have that, Mel?
Yes, I do actually. It's really, you always seem to be pulling from the back, like where your hip is. So you're pulling your pants up. And the thing I've noticed as you get older, there's certain things about your body as a female that you can't change and you have to accept. So whereas wearing a crop top years ago didn't worry me, say, around the underarm area, but now I find when I put a crop top on and I wear it underneath another top, I'm always adjusting the crop top to come up higher underneath my armpits, because I feel like those little extra saggy bits that you get, and I'm 50, I'll be 57 this year, but those little extra saggy bits you get, they're more dominant now than what they were when I was in my 40s.
Like a bit of side boob almost.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And when you talk to other ladies about that transitioning that you go through once you sort of hit 40, everybody's talking about the same thing, that little extra boob bit. Or if you're wearing a wearable, you're pulling your crop top up, but you're pulling it down so it goes over the wearable. And I've started to wear, high-waisted shorts myself, unless I can find a really good brand at the retail shops that aren't like sitting on my hip. I mean, that might have been great when I started in the industry, 25 years ago, but it's not great now. And so it's, like you said, there's the pulling up, the pulling down. Yeah. But there is a definite marketplace for your product for all shapes and sizes that just, I suppose, give women a little bit more respect.
Yeah, and I see actually there's a bit of toxic stuff that goes on in, like, as you know, in the industry in general, but in regards to activewear, that they'll only show models who are like a tiny size 6, and like fitness models are extremely fit. They're not like your everyday mum like myself. And you rarely see that represented, I guess. And the actual need for I don't know, clothes that fit shapes that aren't that size 6 and that aren't that that fitness model look. Do you know what I'm getting at? Like,
oh yeah, I mean, do you agree that there is less size 6, size 8 people that go to gyms as opposed to size 12, 14, 16 and 18?
I think in general, in my research, that the biggest size that sells in Australia at the moment is extra large. So that's kind of like a 16 to 18. Yeah.
And would you agree that now that we're coming out of COVID and people are starting to return to gyms, because they haven't been exercising for the last 2 years, they are automatically in that size large, extra large, extra, extra large. Yeah. So therefore, your product is going to, I suppose, give them the confidence to be able to wear activewear in the club and not feel like they have to buy it off the rack.
That, like, yourself, it's quite like, for people, if there's a hurdle or two between them and the gym, a lot of people that's one of the things, they're kind of self-conscious and they're scared to go to the gym, and they don't have anything except for big baggy ugly trackies to wear, and that's a hurdle. I think when you put something on, it's like if you've got a dress that fits you perfectly, you put that dress on and you feel amazing and your confidence levels go up straight away. Activewear is kind of what we live in now. So I think it's the same thing. If it's comfortable, if it fits you well, it's going to help you to actually have that motivation to get out for a walk or go to the gym or go and do a class or whatever. And, it all goes hand in hand, doesn't it? We all like a little retail therapy, but it's a good type.
And what I love about your activewear is that you don't actually have to go to a gym to wear it. You can wear it power walking, you can wear it running, you can wear it, tennis and all those other activities outside the gym. So you don't have to be purchasing Tracy's gear just for gym. It is product, because I've seen it online, that you can be wearing with all sports. Now, Tracy, can you just tell our listeners what are some of the products like? So you've got leggings, 3/4, crop tops. Did I see swimwear come up?
Yeah, well, this is my masterpiece, actually. So I've kind of created, and I've never seen anyone else do this yet, but they're crops with little poppers on the sides, and they actually connect into whatever you're wearing on the bottom. So they clip into leggings, and I've got shorts as well. And we're just about to launch bather bottoms. So you can have that same crop, which you could get a plain black, or I'm going to do more plain colors, but we've got some really bright, cool patterns and prints. But you could use the same crop as the top half of your bathing suit, or the top that goes with the shorts out for a walk on a sunny day. So it's kind of like a system, and now my brain's just going off with all the ideas to add to this set, like maybe long sleeve tops next, or it's really different from anything I've ever seen.
So where does Tracy get her creative flair from?
Well, I'm like you, Mel. You're a natural creator, I think, and an entrepreneur. It's something you can't kind of. Given that I've been teaching yoga and Pilates and stuff like that for 14 years, I noticed the struggle of activewear. Like, teaching class and pulling my pants up every 2 seconds with 30 people watching you isn't great. And I was probably always too busy with the business before that to do anything about it. But I think, if we're natural creators, that's what we do, isn't it?
True. And I love, as you've heard Tracy say, that, this all stemmed from pulling your pants up. There's also the other side to it as a female. It's also pulling your pants out of your crotch. Yeah. So you're pulling them up or you're pulling them out of your crotch.
Or camel toe.
Yes, I haven't heard that for a while.
There's a lot of really badly designed leggings out there, like with the front seam that just wants to go straight up there. And how embarrassing is that? If walking around with camel toe isn't great. So these are all the things that went into the designs as well.
Cool. So before we wind up our chat this afternoon, what I want to ask you first is, obviously you'll give your details of where people can purchase your product online, but are you open to clubs getting in touch with you and perhaps wholesaling? Are you open to that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, look, I'm quite new to this venture, but I am willing to do try anything and get the stuff out there for sure.
There you go. Absolutely. So if you're a club owner, and there's a great brand out at the moment actually called Club Active for over 50s. So we might give those guys a bit of a call and let them know about Apple Queen. But Tracy has said that she's open to all ideas. So if you're a club owner or a studio owner and you're wanting to grab some gear and perhaps sell it to your members, and that's a great way to earn some secondary income, and at the same time you're helping grow an Aussie business that was a startup. Tracy, where is the best place for the listeners to get in touch with you?
Yeah, awesome. All over socials, Mel. I mean, my website where you can go and find all the different leggings and things is aqactive.com.au. And I have the same handle on TikTok and Instagram, just at aqactive.com.au. At aqactive, sorry. TikTok and Instagram, and I'm also on Facebook as Apple Queen Active.
Fantastic. So today we spoke to Tracy Hargraves from Absolute Yoga and Pilates, and also Apple Queen Active. It's an absolutely superb product. I've been watching it over the last 8 to 10 months, and they're doing amazing things. So do tap in on all those social media platforms with Apple Queen Active. I'll drop Tracy's details in the bottom of our podcast today. Again, thanks, Trace, for joining us here. And I wish you nothing but success with your business.
Thank you so much, Mel, and absolutely the same back to you as well. Everything you're doing is very inspirational, I think, to the Ballarat community in general, but in particular our niche of gyms and fitness. I think you're a real trailblazer here, and people look up to you for good reason with all your energy and your innovation. So keep on keeping on.
I'll do my best, Trace. Thank you. And just a reminder that today's podcast was proudly supported by the Women's Leaders in Fitness Business Podcast and the Gym Owners Fitness Business Podcast and FitRec for fitness registration for fitness professionals.